What's up, y'all? This is Dustin Lynch. I'm sitting down with CountryMusicRocks.net.
Well, first off, congratulations on having your debut single, Cowboys and Angels, in the top 15 on the charts.
Thank you.
You also have 3 million video views on YouTube.
Yeah, that's crazy.
#1 CMT ringtone, and several other accomplishments already this year. I mean, have you wrapped your head around all of this?
I know it's so. That's what I try to do. Is we're moving so quick, and Cowboys and Angels has changed my life in the past 6 months and 8 months really, and yeah, I'm just trying to smell the roses as we pass by. But life is amazing. It's amazing what a song can do for somebody, and Cowboys and Angels truly has changed my life, and it's an honor, and I'm just like I said, trying to smell the roses as we fly by them right now.
Okay. Your single has made such a huge impact on country radio as well as country music fans. What's it like for you performing that song and hearing the fans sing it back to you?
That's the beautiful thing about country music, country radio is anywhere in the country we go right now, people know the song, and as a songwriter and an artist, that's the greatest reward. Is someone taking the time to learn your song and then coming out of the show and partying with you and singing back to you. It's the greatest feeling there is.
Okay. Now you're gearing up to release your debut album on August 21st. Tell us a little bit about the album and what can fans expect.
So yeah, my first album, I've dreamed of having an album for 10s and 12s and 20 of years. I mean, a dream of mine was to make a country music album. I moved to Nashville 9 years ago, and it's finally coming out August 21st. So, I tried to make an album that, like the albums that are my favorites, and my favorite albums are albums that I can listen to from top to bottom, and all the way through. So, the anchor, the foundation of the album is obviously Cowboys and Angels. It's a country record, but I think people are going to be surprised. It's a pretty high octane record. I think I want to make a record that people could rock out to on the weekends, and for someone to listen to a record top to bottom, it's got to have some diversity, and so I think there's a song for everybody, and there's a song you can fall in love with, on this album. Make love to, party to, get over somebody to, and that's what I strive to do, and I think we did a good job of it.
Okay. Now, you worked with some amazing producers on this album. What was one of your favorite moments of the recording process?
Yeah, my producers, Brett Beavers and Luke Wooten. I can remember where I was when I first heard What Was I Thinking by Dirk Bentley years ago, and I fell in love with that sound and the sound those guys were putting out, and I kind of stalked them, for lack of better words, for years, and so we've had 3 years together to find the sound that is on this album, and the songs that are on this album. I've written over 300 songs and squashed it. We've narrowed it down to 13, and so it was a labor of love, and those guys are my best buddies now, and so it wasn't like work for us. It was friends hanging out, having a good time, and I think it's going to shine through what we got, the finished product.
Okay. Now, when you first heard the finished product of the album from start to finish, what was your first reaction?
Well, we put in hours and hours and days, and long nights, early mornings on this record, and my favorite moment of the whole process is getting in my truck and cranking it up, the windows down, and riding around town, because and with that said, we started sequencing what songs are in what order, and so that was my favorite part, is like you said, the first time we got to listen to it was awesome. I actually drove down to my hometown, to Tullahoma, and where I grew up, and cruised the same roads that I used to cruise when I was dreaming of having an album, and so it was just an awesome feeling.
Okay. Now, clearly you have a connection with each of the songs on the album, but is there one particular song that maybe you identify with more so than?
Yeah, there is. There's a song that's actually the bonus track called Your Plan, and I wrote that song. I live an awesome life, but I was going through a tough time in Nashville, where I didn't know if music was my calling or not, and I was just kind of spinning my wheels in town, and I woke up in the middle of the night, kind of broke down, and something just told me to get out of bed and go write a song, and I went to the basement and wrote this song called Your Plan in about 10 minutes, and it really is just a prayer, and it's a piece of my heart and soul, and a little 3-minute song, and I'm really glad the song got to make the album, because it really is very personal to me, and I think it's something everybody can relate to.
Okay. Now, you wrote and co-wrote over 10 of the 13 songs on the album. Being such a talented songwriter, if you could pen a song for any artist, who would you choose and why?
Oh wow, well, right now that's people that are putting out music. definitely Jason Aldean. I think he's the hottest artist. Luke Bryan, those guys, Eric Church, Kenny Chesney, Tim McGraw. You know, I grew up listening to Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson and George Strait. You know, if those guys were to cut one of my songs, I don't know what I would do. I would lose it. But yeah, I mean, you know, Garth's probably gonna put out some new music one of these days, and that would be unbelievable. You know, if Garth Brooks actually recorded a song I wrote.
Okay. Now, who are some of your musical influences that you identify with both as a songwriter and as a performer?
Garth Brooks is my hero. He's the reason I sing country music, and Alan Jackson and Clint Black. They're known as the class of '89, and you know, that early '90s music is still some of my favorite era of music, country music, and but those three guys were kind of my dudes that I always found myself going back to, and you know, as I was growing up, obviously my taste evolved, and you had, you know, Kenny Chesney and McGraw and those guys come into play, and I recently got to meet Garth and Tim McGraw, which was, you know, you dream of meeting these guys, and I'm a big fan. They're, you know, there are a lot of reasons I sing country music, why I love country music, and when you meet them and they're actually cooler than what you thought they were, that's it was amazing, and both of them were. They, you know, Garth and Tim were just wonderful people.
Very cool. Now, you've been on the road nonstop lately. When you finally get a few days off, what do you enjoy doing?
If I have a minute off, or more than a minute off, I guess an afternoon off, I'm usually trying to find a lake to go sit on a boat and just chill out. I love to bow hunt, so if it's hunting season, I'm up in a tree somewhere, just getting away, and you know, that's my two spots. That's my two heavens, if you will. You know, and my favorite thing to do in the summertime is get on a boat and listen to music. I love to listen to new songs I've written on a boat. I don't know what it is about being on a lake, but you know, there's something about music on a lake to me that I can kind of see how a song works, or just kind of, you know, escape and get in that kind of frame of mind, a creative kind of frame of mind.
Okay. Now, we always like to ask 5 quick questions.
All right.
You give us the first thing that you think of.
Okay.
You can't go a day without.
Brushing my teeth.
Before you take the stage, you always.
Brush my teeth.
Favorite cover song to perform.
Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks.
Okay. One of your favorite songs on your iPod besides Cowboys and Angels.
Echo by Incubus.
Okay. And when you think of country music, the first thing that comes to mind.
Real Life.
Okay. And finally, what are your plans to celebrate the release of your debut album?
I'm gonna go definitely buy it on iTunes, and probably gonna get it on Amazon as well. I'm gonna hit all the outlets, and then I don't know where I'm gonna be yet on August 21st or at midnight. I don't know where my mom's gonna be. She's gonna be at the local Walmart, standing in line, beating the door down. But I'm gonna hit the Walmart and Target, you know, wherever I'm at, and you know, walking into a store and seeing your album on a shelf is a dream that, you know. I moved to Nashville, like I said, 9 years ago, and that's about to happen. Unless, you know, and yeah, it's gonna be crazy checking out and then unwrapping it and putting it in the truck and hoping it plays. So yeah, it's you know, I got to hold the first copy of the album. A couple folks from the label brought it to me at the backstage of the Opry last week. So I've seen it, I've held it, I've flipped through the pages, but it's not, you know, the real thing off the shelf yet. So I'm still looking forward to doing that.
Very cool. Well, we wish you the best of luck with your new album, and we can't wait to hear it.
Appreciate it.
Great.
There's a want and there's a need. There's a history between girls like her and guys like me, cowboys and angels.